And in the game, I thought, wow, that's not a great call. Welcome to today's video, guys. Got a pretty fun hand to go through today. This is from the final table of Powerfest number 4, $111 buy-in, and let's just play it through. We're currently 7 of 7, and the big stack goes for the 2.5x open, and we're going to go for the jam, and it's going to fold back round to the opener, and he's going to call with Queen 8 suited. And in the game, I thought, wow, that's not a great call. To be fair, he does tank for a little bit, but yeah, I didn't think it was a great call. He gets there, and we bust in 7th. So I don't want you to think that this is a salty video. We're making this to show you just how bad this call is, but we are going to go through what he should be doing in this spot and have a quick chat about what our jamming range should look like. So I think it's really important that we don't just look at this and go, well, he made a terrible call, we got really unlucky, and that's the end of it, right? Because you're not learning anything from that sort of mindset. So what I want to do instead is to look at, okay, how wide can he open? Because he gets to open a lot. He's the big stack in this spot. And what range can we then jam? And what range then should he call when we do jam? And I think that those are some really, really important questions that we can answer today. Now, I'm going to load up HRC here. So some of you might be thinking, but HRC can't give you the right result. It's only really good for push fold. And a few weeks ago, I would have agreed. And I've made several videos that basically say the same thing, that they can't really tell you what proper raising ranges should look like because they don't understand post-flop equity realization. But as you can see in the top left-hand corner of HRC, this is a brand new beta version that actually includes post-flop play, or post-flop equity realization. It has a post-flop engine and actually gives you a much better result. So I'm pretty excited to be able to go through this with you today, just to show you what happens if we just go through to hand setup. So this is the setup that I put in for this one. I've done it max 6 players because the guy who opened, there was a guy who folded, and then there are 6 players left. I'm sure that we could go, into 7 players if we really wanted to. We've done it for max 6 players, and then this is the brand new thing that you probably won't have seen before on your version of Hold'em Resources Calculator. But we've got some post-flop stuff in here too. Now, to be fair, there probably are some limitations. You can see that there are only max players 3 for post-flop. You can change this between 2 and 3, but I think that it's a much better, it does a much better job of showing you the kind of ranges that somebody can open and defend from the big blind and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to cancel it here. I've already run the result, and as you can see, the big stack can open super wide here, and you can see he's going 2s plus, ace 4 off, and I mean, I don't have to go through all of them. You can see what he's doing here. We have a calling range that is really narrow. I mean, if we ran this for even longer, I ran it for 1000 M, so you can see I ran it for 500, and then I ran it for another 500. So 1000 M samples, and yeah, I mean, that's a lot. But if we ran it even longer, these would probably just drop out. But these are kind of insignificant anyway. So our jamming range is going to look like this, and you can see we're going to go ace jack off probably plus ace 9 suited, 6s. Let's just take a look at EV instead. Yeah, I think ace jack off, ace 10 suited, maybe king queen suited, and maybe 7s plus looks good. Although you could shove all of these hands; they are all profitable. And if we click this arrow, we can now have a look at what middle position the guy who opened should call. So you can see he's opening 36% of hands. When we shove this range, which is, given he's opening 36% of hands, is actually still quite a strong range. We've still got, lots of players to get through, plus the original raiser. And then he should be calling with all of these hands. So 2s plus, all these suited 9s, ace 10 off, king queen off, and some suited aces as well. So he ends up calling with the queen 8 suited. It's losing him $22.50. So I don't want this video to be about like how bad this call is. Yeah, I mean, it's losing $22. It's a losing call. But yeah, what we really want to focus on is how wide he gets to open, which is just super wide. He's the big stack, and he gets to open a lot. And I think this is a really, really good insight. And it's something that, I mean, you could run this in a program like Simple Preflop Hold'em that can have bounties. You know, you can add the bounties in there and it factors those in. But I think now, you know, being able to run this in HRC is just absolutely fantastic. So, you know, you might be looking at this and thinking, okay, show us some more like post-flop equity realization stuff. So now, there is a certain limitation I put into the setup. If we just have another look at that a minute, 1 second. So on this next page, you see that I just put 2.5x and jam, and you could flat call and you could overcall. And ordinarily, you know, as I said on many videos before, these two like just pointless before it had a post flop engine, it's just pointless in running those and allowing flat calls. But now, absolutely is not pointless, and you should definitely be doing it. So yeah, I mean, you know, the big blind, you can see here, I've just got him calling or jamming, and you know, maybe he's not going to make it, you know, he's not just going to jam for a 3-bet, he can 3-bet to induce 3-bet bluff to a smaller size. But I've just set it up. This is the way that I've set it up. So of course, like any setup you do within a solver is limited to the parameters that you put in, right? So we could, you know, absolutely we could change this. But I think what could be really good here is just to have a look at the kind of hands that the big blind can call, because you know the guy's 2.5x'd it from under the gun. The big blind has 30 big blinds. No real incentive to get involved in a pot here, and you can see it's very sort of suited card heavy, and then the jamming range looks like this. Now obviously, as I said, he can go for some 3-bets here, and we haven't included those, so that's something that we could do, you know, in a future video. But I think that, you know, before we used to see that, you know, lots of hands were being called. It was like, you know, being able to play like 100% of hands from the big blind, and you can see that's just not happening anymore, and that's just because the post flop engine is you know, is working its magic you know, behind the scenes. As I said, I think this will be a really good introduction to the new HRC, and certainly not just me being salty, busting in 7th after someone made a bad call, a losing call. That's going to happen. You can't blame other people. You can't control what other people are going to do, right? So it's not even worth worrying about or thinking about. What you can do is to learn from it, right? And to say, okay, this guy gets to open super wide at 36% of hands, and then we only get to jam like 9.8% of hands. And then when it comes back round to him, he gets to call quite wide still, but certainly not, you know, as wide as Queen 8 suited. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you've got any thoughts or questions, maybe you've got questions about the new HRC, drop them down below and I'll be happy to answer them. Until next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.